Welcome back to Black Sporadic Podcast, where we explore the art of building a life and a legacy that lasts with Black minds and Black creatives. I'm so excited today. Our episode is about building an empire. And we have a special guest from Boston. I've seen his work. I've looked at his profile. Super lit, super cool. I'm so excited and very grateful that he has taken the time out to work with us and to film and be on this podcast. So that's really amazing. I'm super excited to dive into today's topic. It's something that I'm very interested in, and I can't wait for you guys to hear it. All right, y'all. So here we have my special guest, Edosa. Did I say it correctly? Yes. Okay, great, great, great. Yes. So you can introduce yourself and get it kind of started.
Yes, my name is Edosa Osemige. I am a Nigerian American. I consider myself a creative, social broker, entrepreneur, etc. I wear many hats, and yeah, I'll keep it. I'll keep it there.
Wait, but also please tell them what you just told me, like not too long ago.
Yes, I am the founder of Diaspora Mass.
Yes. Love y'all. Love y'all down. Love y'all down.
Thank you. That's my baby right there.
Mm.
Um, we got a good team. And, 2025, we're just trying to really take off and really just make a name for ourselves and really, just push the needle.
Mm. Yeah, you guys have done honestly amazing thus far. How long have you guys been around for? Like a couple years now, no?
3 years.
Yeah. That's really dope to make such headway so like early on into like the game because I feel like it's still like the early stages, and I think it's really dope. Like the information, just the way you guys like push and push and push, like is really dope to me.
Thank you
So I
so
like
much.
that. Yeah, of course. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about taking small, deliberate steps towards like building a legacy and a future for us that matters and how to stay motivated when the results aren't necessarily immediate or when they don't seem like, all right, I've been doing this for however long and I don't feel like I'm truly where I think I would be at this point in my life. So I would love to just pick your brain about that and get into it a little bit. Do you want to share like your beginning story? Like, how did you get into the creative space? Like, what made you, like, what was the starting point for you, like, getting into that type of space?
Yeah, I mean, I would say maybe like high school, junior, senior year. I think it all just started with I just wanted to model.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I would take pictures wherever I could. That was around the period I kind of got a glow up. And so
Okay.
I was just experimenting with like just different things.
Mhm.
Yeah, just I got into that, started getting behind the camera more. I would find opportunities to model.
Mm.
And then I think from there in college, I started my clothing brand.
Mm.
My
Okay.
sophomore college, I started a clothing brand called Last Breed.
I think I've seen that around.
Yes. It was fairly popular when it was around. We were marketing heavy. So I did that. I started it out in UMass Amherst. That's where I went to school.
Okay, lit.
Yes. And I think it started there. Like the creativity just started there. But I think it was budding junior, senior year of high school.
Where did you go to high school, if you don't mind me asking?
Boston Green Academy
Ooh, I went to Boston Latin Academy, BLA kid.
of that. BLA. Let's go.
Yes. Yes, and I went to a small HBCU called Lincoln University. It's in Pennsylvania. So I can definitely agree with you on that. Like a lot of my modeling and like the creative like world really started like becoming interesting to me. I want to say a little bit earlier, like maybe freshman, sophomore year, just getting into, art and stuff like that. I feel like I always wanted to like be a painter and like, get into that world. So I volunteered, well, not volunteer, but I worked at Artists for Humanity. Not sure if you know what that is, but yes, I love Artists for Humanity. It's honestly like my favorite place ever. And it was the reason why I wanted to create my own nonprofit So I know that those first experiences for everything really mean a lot. So do you remember your first modeling experience? I remember mine. Honestly, it was so early on. It was like for, I think, hair, and I wore like a head wrap, but I know that that experience transcend into like multiple different experiences over the course of my life. So do you remember your first modeling experience, and like how, looking back at it, how do you feel about it now? Like what can you say about yourself at that point?
First off, I just want to say that's a beautiful story you just told me.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you.
yeah, about your experience with Artists for Humanity. I just wanted to just, it wouldn't feel right if I didn't touch on it. Shout out to Rob Pro Black Gibbs.
Yes, pro black. Yes, that's my
I
guy.
don't know why I said his government like that. But shout out to him. He's the founder of
Yes.
Humanity. Um, when I was in high school, I had friends who participated in that.
It's a really dope program. Really dope.
Very dope. And I had come to find out that he was the founder much later on. But I mean,
Mm,
that he has built in the city is incredible. And, I can only hope to kind of, do a little bit of that.
yeah.
Uh, Shout out to him. But you said my first modeling experience was probably with my clothing brand, Last Breed.
Mm,
Yeah, that's the earliest I can remember. With Last Breed, I kind of had to be the face of the brand.
mm,
And so, the Black community at UMass Amherst is pretty tight knit. And so, I would call friends together. We would do casting calls and we would do, shoots around the campus. So I think that was my first modeling experience.
wow. Okay, so I know for me, like when I was trying to like collaborate and really get people in tune with the work that I was trying to do, did you find that it was difficult putting together a team and like getting people to collaborate, or to really to see your vision essentially? Like was it hard for you, or was that like kind of easy for you to find those building steps to get to where you wanted to get to with your clothing brand and like your modeling?
That's a very good question. Thankfully, it has been pretty easy for me.
Mm,
If there's anything that I'll give myself credit for is being able to bring people together under a mission, vision, or what have you.
mm,
So yeah, and that all started with my clothing brand.
yeah.
I think when people believe in you, or if they believe in what you're trying to do, they will come. And no, not everybody is gonna come rushing in droves to help or volunteer, but the ones that do, they're much appreciated and they contribute.
Yeah. Do you feel like, I just have so many questions now, like just hearing you talk. Um, do you feel like your vision, like, do you feel like they were able to see your vision, or do you feel like you had to show what your vision truly was for people to be on board? Because I was just talking about this with someone the other day, and I'm just like, sometimes when people don't see what you're trying to do, it's like, like, I'm not really like getting with that. But when people can see your vision and they believe in it, like you said, when having people believe in you, is it easier for you to make yourself believable, or is it easier to have people that already see what you're trying to do and where you're trying to go, like where you're trying to head to, in what direction?
Great question. I think it's both.
Mm,
I think when you're working on things, people see it. And there are some people that will join at the beginning stages
mm,
because they have the foresight, right? And then there are people who sometimes you have to show them. And sometimes it'll be the people that had the foresight, but they didn't really understand the true extent to where you're trying to take this.
right, right. Yeah, I feel like it's, and I definitely don't want to fault anybody. I feel like as a creative, I feel like it's easy to get in that headspace of like, why aren't people supporting me? Why are people not like getting on it? Because we think like what I'm putting out is the best of the best. Why y'all not supporting me? Why y'all don't want to get on this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Even like in the beginning stages of my podcast, like just recognizing and understanding that in a way, and I don't like using this word, but in a way I had to humble myself. It's like, girl, like nobody knows who you are.
you have to keep putting yourself out there. You have to keep pushing for it. People are not going to support something just because it's you. It doesn't matter who it is. You have to really put in that type of work, and you have to be dedicated to your vision. Not everybody's going to see it. It's not for them to see. Because if it was, God would have gave them that idea. God would have gave them that dream. So it's really just believing in myself and just having enough strength to be like, you know what? People may not see the vision right now, but I'm going to keep going. Because 5 years from now, at least I have like the records to show like I've been doing this. I've been putting in the work. And I feel like a lot of people always want to like fast track success. And it's like, there's a building blocks to this. Like there's steps and it's hard. And one thing I seen when I was like doing my research on you and looking at your page and stuff like that, I saw that modeling was definitely very prevalent. I loved the work that you put out, very intentional, very meaningful as well. And it has a story to tell. And I think that's very important. But one thing that stood out to me the most was when I was looking at your bio and you had building an empire. That's where I got, the title from. And I'm like, I just really want him to see like, no, like she does her research, like she looked and she really saw like who she's interviewing. So for you, what does brick by brick mean for you when it comes to building your success story?
Yes. You just you touched upon a lot of things, and I'm very big on attention to detail. And before I get into that, I kind of just wanted to, like, if I can,
Yeah, for
I want to credit you for your podcast. I
thank
think,
you.
I think the meaning, the intent behind it is very beautiful.
Mm.
Uh, and I love that, like, we do not have to be in a studio
Yeah.
to get this going. I think that is genius of you. I had a podcast in college.
Wow. What was it called?
That's a wrap.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I just think, and that, like, we had to all come together
Mm.
one location. So I just think this is beautiful. Like, it's just everything about this just makes sense to me. So point that out.
Thank
And,
you.
you know, later on in this conversation, we can get into the humble consistency stuff. But to answer your question, um, I think you asked, what does brick by brick mean to me?
Yeah, like it's in your personal experience, what does it mean to go brick by brick in when it comes to building your success stories?
Yes, asking great question. What does it mean to go brick by brick? I think brick by brick is laying the foundation, right, for success.
Mm.
Me, that means waking up at a certain time in the morning. Again, I think it's different for everybody. To me, it's waking up at a certain time in the morning, goal setting, making sure that I'm waking up with the right attitude, the right mindset,
Mm.
making sure that I pray in the morning. That's actually something that I just started doing. And I think a lot of things contribute to it.
Well, how important is it? Because you touched on something very important. How important is it for you to start your day off in the right way? Like, how has that, have you seen a difference between like, you doing these new things, like in creating a new routine? Have you seen the difference between when you did do that and when you didn't? Like, are your days, like, do they flow better? Like, what's different about your days or what is the same about your days that you're realizing now?
Great, 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 great question. I think 2025 so far has been my most productive year.
Mm. And we only like 2 months in. Well,
Only
it's only 2 months.
I've been on fire.
Oh, tell us.
2024 was a very trial and tribulation year for me.
For sure.
I was on a social media break for most of 2024.
Mm.
So most of the content you see on my page is from 2025.
Wait,
Uh,
so when you say you took a social media break, does that mean like you completely removed yourself, or were you like kind of active but not as much as you used to be?
I completely removed myself.
Mm. And from what platforms?
All social media, you didn't see me
Mm.
unless on somebody's story or something. But on my socials, King Edosa, on all platforms, you didn't hear a peep from me.
Mm.
And that was because I was really trying to own in on my craft.
Talk about that. Talk about that. For
Yes,
people who are like beginner creatives, I think that is something very important to talk about.
yes. I think owning in on craft is very important. I'm very big on eliminating distractions
Mm,
as you can. Now, distractions could be, I think a distraction is different for everybody, but I think it's being able to identify what distracts you, what
mm.
off your course. And it doesn't have to be for forever, but okay, for 6 months out of the year, I am not going to watch Netflix,
Oh,
right? For so and so amount of the year, I am not going to eat meat or whatever, what have you. And that's what I had to do for myself. I was like, no social media. I'm not telling anybody what I'm doing or what my moves are because I can be susceptible to that sometimes.
yeah, we all can.
Right. And I'm just going to lock in 2024. And if you see me, you see me, but I'm not willingly putting myself out there.
What did that teach you at the end of it? Like, what did you feel like you learned about yourself and about like your environment at that moment?
It's a great question. I think we live in an age where we feel like if it's not posted, it didn't happen.
Mm. Hello.
Right.
That's a big one.
Absolutely. And in 2024, like I had to kind of just, I had to almost unlearn that, if that's the right term to use for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like sometimes it's almost like validation. Like we want that gratification. I got an award. Let me post it on my story.
Yes. Yes. I even think about that with myself sometimes. It's hard not to. I feel like as a creative, I need this platform because this is the way that I push my work and how I market myself. But at the same time, like why who cares? Why am I posting it? Like in what reality am I telling myself that people care about me going to dinner someplace really nice or going on vacation? We didn't always have these things, so why does it matter? And why do I feel like I have to? One thing I learned about myself with social media, because I take a hiatus here and there, but I've been back mainly because like I'm on a mission. Like I have a goal that I'm trying to get to. But a lot of my like disdain towards social media was like, I'm doing things and it's making me feel like I have to have an aesthetic for my life. And that's not real. Like every day I don't look put together. Like every day I'm not out, seeing this really nice scenery. Like, don't get me wrong, Boston is a very beautiful place. We have beautiful places everywhere. But my life is not an aesthetic. I don't want to keep pushing myself to be in a space where like that is what people know me by. Like, oh, she's always doing that. It's like, no, like, I want to be known for being real. I want to be known for, touching grass. Like, I want to be known for people be like, yeah, like, she's really in her community. She's always doing something. And that's what I aim to do with this podcast and moving on into like bigger things. But yeah, I definitely understand what you're saying when it comes to like posting and things like that. And that moves me into my next question that I had for you. In terms of a distraction, what was a distraction that you learned that I can't fully get rid of this? I need it almost, but being more disciplined about it. So, for example, for me, like I need social media. Like it's a distraction for sure. I can't get rid of it completely because of what I'm doing and how I want to show up in the world, but how can I be disciplined about my approach to social media and to using it for a specific thing?
That's a good question. I think maybe my distraction would be like maybe like Netflix television.
Mm,
Yeah, like I could watch movies all day, but I do understand that. So my uncle told me something that changed kind of my brain chemistry years ago when
mm.
I in Nigeria. And he said that, so I used to love reality TV.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Love Island. I used to watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I was that kind of guy.
Yes.
And he came into the living room one day and he was like, Edosa, you spend all your time watching these people.
Mhm.
Why don't you work on being the person that people are watching.
Yes. Yeah. I was just telling my little sister that, like, why am I sitting here taking time watching someone else's life? I want to be the person you watch. Why am I taking time out to watch you? Hey.
Exactly. And when he told me that, it changed things for me because it's so true. A lot of the people we are watching on television, they're making that like they've made it
Essentially.
in some shape or form.
Mm.
And I think a lot of times, like Netflix, TV, these are distractions, right? That they distract us from our reality.
Yes. And from what's really going on. I feel like they always, in the media especially, they like to throw little things at you. Like, even for example, like, and I know this is like super controversial, but the Diddy situation. Why are we seeing, like, our timelines were flooded, TV flooded with all this Diddy stuff? Lo and behold, there's things happening behind the scenes that's going on with our government, that's going on across the sea, or that's going on in Canada. Like, our internet and our like the things that are being able to be posted is limited. We're not even realizing like where we're at in the world because we're so focused on a celebrity's life, and it's all programmed, if that makes sense. Yeah, so that's really interesting. Did you have anything else to say about it?
No, I mean I think you hit it all on the head. I think I would be remiss to say that, again, I think he has done atrocious things.
For sure.
It does, I don't know why, but it does feel at times that once our Black men become billionaires, it's almost like they get a target on their back. Now, this
For
doesn't
sure.
right? This doesn't excuse anybody for their crimes, but it's like it's white men doing worse, and I feel like they're not held under the same scrutiny as our Black men. And but again, right? I think if you're not doing certain things in the darkness, right, they'll never come to light if you're living a life in the right way. But we all make mistakes, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, it is unfortunate seeing, and I hate to be that person seeing a Black man get tore down. Like, I'm not that. Everybody has to pay for what they have done, but it is insane. Like, it's very insane how we have seen white men who have done even more than and surpassed what Diddy has done, which is a lot. That like that what he did was not a lot. We have seen people surpass that and do more and not face the same repercussions. So it's honestly interesting in that aspect, like how Black men are treated in that way. And that actually leads me to my next question. What was one early setback that turned out to be a valuable lesson for you?
This is such a great question because I feel like I've had so many setbacks in my life.
Haven't we all?
Yeah, I think what's a setback? I think off the top of my head, a lot of people are familiar with diaspora mass being hacked last year.
What happened
Yes.
with that? I didn't know that.
Yes. So, and to kind of I want to preface the story by saying that at that time, we were getting 10,000 new followers every week.
Yeah, it was rapid. It
It
was
was
rapid.
higher, right? Uh, the content we were posting was funny. It was very relatable. And,
Yes.
all of a sudden you have, I want to say corn because I don't want to say the other one,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
but we had corn being posted on the page and we almost we lost 10,000 followers.
That's a big hit.
Big hit, big hit. And we spent a lot of time trying to recover from that fallout. But that taught me that for diaspora mass to really thrive the way we want it to, we can't be so dependent on the traditional forms of social media.
Mm, that's big. That's big.
You know what I mean? By traditional forms of social media, I'm talking about the Instagram, the Twitter, the TikToks, and the team came together and we were like, let's go to WhatsApp,
Mm.
right?
The newsletter even. I seen that you guys started putting out a newsletter. I really, yeah.
Exactly. You're doing your research. So we said, well, let's not just, because at the end of the day, right, social media is owned by people with their own self-interest.
Come on now.
If Instagram, right, decides to, do like a TikTok for whatever reason and shuts down, people's incomes are at stake.
Yeah, like, yes, that was insane. Not to, I'm so sorry to cut you off, but I thought that whole thing with like TikTok and like all these creators are like, no, like, this is how I bought my house. I'm like, me personally, I'm thinking money moves. I'm like, listen, if I got famous off social media, I got to find out what's next. What is next? I cannot have this be just solely what I do. I feel like, and that's also, building an empire. You have to think longevity. You have to think years from now. You have to think, if all this crashes down, what else do I have? Where else am I going to go? So I feel like that was a reality check, much like what you're explaining with getting hacked. It was a reality check for everyone. Hold up. Our foundation kind of got a little shaken up a little bit. Now what we about to do? And how can we move forward and progress and get even bigger than what we were before? And I feel like you guys did an amazing, amazing job of like coming back 10 times harder and surpassing what you were doing before. Like, amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. I think, the influencer B. Simone taught me something that
Mm.
I never forgot. And she had said that exactly what I was telling you, right? You know, when you're like on Instagram and stuff like that, you have to find ways to bring your audience to your website. Like you have to bring them to things that are completely owned or at least owned mostly by you.
Correct.
So that when the Instagram shuts down, okay, now your audience has a platform, another platform that they can go to, which could be WhatsApp, your website, or what have you. So yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I think it's nice that you even quoted like, B. Simone. I feel like she was really big on like, just self-made, like really starting and bringing back a whole new feel, if that makes sense. Our next question is, how important is adaptability when building something brick by brick? And did you have to shift your approach as you progressed?
Yeah, that's a good question. Adaptability is very important. I think adaptability is my middle name.
Mm,
In order to grow anything, we have to be adaptable, right? Because there's this quote that, man plans and God laughs.
yeah. Yes.
Things will never completely work out exactly the way we want it to.
Mm-hmm.
The smart man, I think, plans for degrees of error.
For sure. For sure.
Because I believe that, right? And I think I'm probably getting this quote wrong, but you want to shoot for the stars, and if you aim for the moon, at least you got somewhere.
Yeah. 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 I'm hearing. I'm hearing it.
That's just the goal, and I think adaptability is part of like learning from your
Yes.
because again, I think everything is a mindset, right? You can see a mistake as a failure, right? But
Mm-hmm.
people who are successful driven, they'll see mistake as like as a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's dope. Yeah. I feel like mistakes are a given. We're human. We're going to make mistakes and we just have to keep pushing forward and keep progressing, to be honest. And I feel like you've given such a beautiful layout, just a peaceful layout at that. Like your energy is very peaceful. So, a peaceful layout, I mean, of like, how can I have a setback and keep it pushing? How can I, work with the punches and roll with it? And like, have something come up that was very unexpected and, keep pressing forward, like we said before. So I'm gonna get into our last question. This one I'm really excited for, and I am, and please take as long or as little as you want to answer this question as well. Um, but at what point did you realize that your empire was no longer just small, a small project, and it became much larger than what you could have imagined at that moment when it was just an idea?
That's a great question. I think it became, and I'll speak on, just diaspora mass. I think it became something to me when I would go to spaces and they'd have no idea who I was, but they'd be talking about diaspora mass in front of me.
Much like what I did when I first got on the call. I'm like, yes, like they reached out. You're like, you do know that. I think that is a dope move to do. Like, you do know, like, that's me, right? Like, I think that was amazing.
Thank you. And I think it's just all about, again, I don't like to be the face of anything that I create.
Mm.
And that's another story for another day. But like I want the community to be the face.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And I want to enter rooms and you don't know who I am, but you know my work.
Mm.
Right?
That's a powerful position.
Right. And the only people that would know, okay, I'm the founder of this or I'm the founder of that, are people in my inner circle, or I wanted you to know.
That's dope.
Because I was watching, I was scrolling on social media the other day and I saw, so the founder of, it's a black whiskey called Uncle Ernest. I'm saying that correctly. Very popular black-owned whiskey brand, and the founder's a black woman. And she was basically saying that when she first started the brand, she didn't tell nobody who she was, and especially she didn't want to come out as a black-owned brand because unfortunately the society we living in, like black-owned brands, or if people know, okay, this is the founder.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's almost
like a double-edged sword. It like works, but it doesn't at the same time.
Exactly. I hope you there was a lot in your question, but I hope that I got to it a little bit.
No. Yeah, that was really great. Thank you so much for being here. And I am amazed and I love the work that you're doing, especially your entire team with Diaspora Mass. I think that you guys have really transcended what it means to be Black, African, just everybody, just in the whole diaspora of people, especially here in Boston, and really just changing and paving the way, giving information out. Like, y'all, please check out Diaspora Mass. Like, this page is absolutely insane. I still am amazed at how you guys do it and the amount of information and pool that you have in the community to just put stuff out constantly. There's always scholarships, there's always opportunities, jobs, college stuff going on. Even I don't know if you guys have, maybe I'm mistaken, high school opportunities. I'm not sure if you guys have had something for high schoolers as well. And it's just growing and growing every day. I love what I've seen with the work that you've done. And I just really have to give you your flowers for that, because it is not easy, but you're doing an amazing job at making it look like it is. Oh.
Thank you so much. I want to just shout out the team. There's a lot of people on our team, but I think some people will watch this. I want to shout out Vivian, who's love her. I want to shout out Kaz. She's going to see this. I want to shout out Dana. I want to shout out my guy DJ. I want to shout out our creative teams. Shout out Shane. I want to shout out Ty Boogie. Before I leave this, because I know people are going to watch, we are building a creative team. We are building an events team, and we just started a civic engagement team.
I'm definitely going to tune in because I want to be a part of it, and I would love to work with you guys and get the information out as best as possible. And we can connect on that a little further, later on, but for sure. Yeah.
Hey, let's do it.
Yes. Thank you again so much. And lastly, thank you for everyone for listening. Remember to follow us on all the platforms. Your empire is waiting. And I thank you so much for dropping so many gems for us today. And I'm just very thankful to have you here.
Very thankful. Thank you so much.
Make us think we do so much and do it big. Like they don't let us win. I can't pretend, but I do admit it feel good when the hood pseudo celebrate. Hence why every time we dine, we eat until I